club?
Extremely critical. We're at that cusp of the season where you have to keep in touch, and you have to really keep in the mix of the teams that are vying. Let's be honest, vying for second place in this league and vying for the top four. So those kind of wins at home are very critical to achieving that. Yeah, she's just an amazing competitor, and it's not just about her ability, it's about her passion and her drive and her sheer competitive spirit that enables her to bring those things out at critical times in games. I think it gives everybody a boost. I think what it does is it sets a standard. It sets a standard for other players to look at, when I can turn around and say, here's the FIFA Player of the Year 5 times or whatever in her 30s, and she's able to do that. It means there are no excuses for anybody else to be out there to give that. Not just, you can't ask players to produce the moments of magic, but you can ask them to produce that kind of effort. Well, I don't think it's going to be that different, to be honest. I think our approach has got to be the same. The tactics will basically be the same, because we feel that's the best way to break them down. I mean, that game for me was just an anomaly that could have been finished after 25-30 minutes. And that's the frustrating thing, and at times a wonderful thing about our sport. And so what we need to do is, if we can produce that same kind of performance, is that we need to make sure we finish them off, or finish off the chances and win the game. There is, but I think that sums up this league. I think you can't pick results in this league from time to time, just when you think it's going to get settled, something happens. Like Portland, who'd been through a little inconsistent spell, suddenly go out at the weekend and beat Utah 4-0. A Utah team that I think have given up 10 goals only this season. So it's a really, you never quite know what to expect in the league. And Houston are a team that's that's obviously had a fair amount of change at the start of the year, particularly in the coaching side, and they play a specific style of soccer, and at times that works for them, and at times it doesn't. Well, there's two ways. The one is that you just keep practicing at training, which keeps your confidence going, and the second way is to keep getting into goal scoring positions, and that's probably the key thing, is that all strikers in particular go through spells where particularly our strikers, they can go through spells where they're scoring goals aplenty, and then you go through spells where the goals aren't coming, and the key time when that happens is to just keep making sure you keep getting into goal scoring positions, and that you keep taking opportunities, that you don't second guess yourself. Not really. No, we are what we are, and we do what we do, and what we've got to do is do what we do as well as we can. With Camila back in the mix again, that gives us a further impetus, a fully fit squad, and we just need to be what we are. There'll be times when we need to make tactical adjustments in games, times when we need to make selection adjustments based on those tactics and opposition. But in general, we want to get to the stage where we are Orlando Pride going out to play as Orlando Pride do. It's kind of getting back to hopefully where we were at this time last year, and that's a team that plays a really good attacking brand of soccer, that creates chances, that is dynamic, and that brings an energy and an enthusiasm to the game. Yeah, we spoke about it last week, coming off that sort of inconsistent week that we had, about what we need to do to be a successful team in this league, and we feel we've got all the ingredients, and there's a couple of things that we need to how we mix those ingredients up to get us that next step. And one of the things that we talked about was being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more proactive, being a team that gets on the front foot a little bit more. And I was really pleased, because I thought we did that well the other night against DC. Good. I think she's training this morning, and she should be fit and healthy. I mean, if the game at the weekend was a cup final, we would have taken a risk and played her. But we've just got to be careful with 3 games in a week.
Yeah.
Nothing. She just needs to keep getting in there and getting game time, and then bringing her A game to the table, and what she did last year. I mean, if we can get the same Camila as last year, then I would be delighted with that. I think it's certainly the most competitive. I think every team has strengthened them and strengthened. Teams are now finding out, obviously, much more about each other. So that's definitely a factor. And I think the factor is that we, in the past, we would have finished some games off that with the number of chances that we created, that we just haven't done this year, and it's meant that virtually every game we've played has been really tight. I think what we talked about is it's really important to beat the teams who are, if you like, out the playoff race and down near the bottom of the league. Those are the games that are really critical, because when you start coming up against the teams that are around about you, the games are going to be really tight, and so it's important that you don't drop points to teams that aren't in the playoff race.